Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakha, Chodash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the sincere Ak. Shalom.
Shalom.
Alright, Shalom. First of all, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Well, peace and salutations to the election of the nation of Israel, which consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And of course, since our seed was scattered amongst the heathen, you have, of course, our people that may look like the heathen, but their actually lineage go back to one of the 12 sons of Jacob, or the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the Lord's anointed ones, which there's an election of you. There's a chosen that are going to receive salvation, not get caught up in this coming destruction, which is coming via pestilence, famine, the sword, martial law, and also you have it, nuclear missiles. And what we have here is going into the 2017 infrastructure report card, which it says here in 2017 the infrastructure report card reveals that we may have made some incremental progress towards restoring a nation's infrastructure, which you got a definition of infrastructure. The definition of infrastructure is,
it says the basic physical and organizational structures and facilities, example buildings, roads, power supplies, it says needed for the operation of a society or enterprise.
Right, which you have it where all these various structures, these facilities, okay, these roads, all of this is of course what keeps a society running. But where you're gonna see it, that America is great, is unacceptable basically. Alright, it's below average, okay, it's below satisfactory. I personally give it a F, to be honest. It's failing. Alright, but it says here that but it's been enough, as in 2013 America's communicative GPA, or grade point average, is a D+. It says 2017 grades range from B for rail to D- for transit, illustrating the clear impact and investment or lack thereof. I mean, there's definitely a lack, of course, of investment in fixing these various structures, these parks. You got the waste, all right, treatment, the waste, of course, management. Okay, you got the transit system. All right, it said receive a decline in the grade this year, while 7 hazardous waste, inland waterways, levees, ports, rail, school, and wastewater saw slight improvements. 6 categories grade remains unchanged for 2017-13, which is the bridge, aviation, dams, drinking water, energy, and roads. And it says the areas of infrastructure that improved benefited from vocal leaderships through policy making investment that garnered the result. These improvements demonstrates of what can be accomplished when a solution to that move projects forward are approved and implemented. And I mean, you have it where, I mean, like I said, America, they're so focused on really spending money on war, okay, and building up their missiles than really improving their infrastructure, okay. And that's why a lot of these different structures or roads, aviation, or water, and are of course being neglected. This is
Yeah, so America's overall grade is a D for the infrastructure, and it has poor at risk, and it says the infrastructure is in poor to fair condition and mostly below standard, with many elements approaching the end of their service life. A large portion of the system exhibits significant deterioration. Condition and capacity are of serious concern with strong risk of failure.
God. You see it? So you say you have here a D. All right. Condition and capacity. All right. Are, well, really, let me read it again. A large portion of the system exhibits significant deterioration. Now go to the Isaiah 14.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
Which we're going to go into the Hebrew word for a worm, okay?
It says Ramah, and it has maggot, worm as cause and sign of decay.
Right. Which you have it where the so-called white man, his infrastructure, all right, it has nothing but them signs of decay, all right, and nothing but decaying in the structure. Like you have it where, you know, something of course is decaying. You know, you have worms that eat it up and such, all right. Well, I mean, you have it where this whole infrastructure, Yahweh Shemashah, is breaking it all down, where it's showing and exhibiting the signs of decay, and we can see it every day through the actual quality, all right, of what is available, okay, where we have low quality water that's contaminated, filled with all of these various chemicals. You have it where a lot of course, the technological devices are failing, all right, having various forms of malfunctions, all right, which we gonna get into aviation a little bit, which you could pull up that article real quick. You know, this was you know, right here, which it says FAA, which I believe that's the Federal Aviation Agency, if I'm not mistaken. You could if I'm not mistaken. It said that go up. It said that all Boeing 737 MAX planes are grounds. The FAA grounds all Boeing 737 MAX planes effective immediately, which I'm gonna go into what happened with that.
Okay. It says President Trump announced Wednesday that the FAA is grounding all Boeing 737 MAX planes effective immediately. It says following the deadly Ethiopian airplanes crash that killed 157 people, including 8 Americans. It says all planes in the air at the time of the agency's order were allowed to reach their destinations, but prohibited from taking off again, the FAA said in a statement. It says the cause of the Ethiopian Airlines crash has not yet been determined, but the incident marked the second time in 5 months a Boeing 737 MAX 8 plane crashed within minutes of takeoff. A MAX 8 jet operated by Lion Airlines crashed in Indonesia in October 2018, killing 189 people. It says the FAA said the order grounding the plane will remain in effect pending further investigation, including examination of information from the aircraft's flight data recorders and cockpit voice recorders. It says the order also prohibits all MAX planes from entering U.S. airspace.
Yeah, so they don't even want these various planes within United States airspace, okay? Because obviously, you know, they got these malfunctions that have been happening, a span of 5 months or something like that, so, definitely showing that, these planes are not safe for use. All right. And like I say, just me speaking as a man in speculation, I just go into it that these planes are lacking, all right, in being able to function properly because of the neglect from the amount of flights in which they have to, of course, carry out. Okay. They're not given that rest that it needs. Really, it's a machine, but really, you have it where during the, if the plane's being grounded, they should be maintained by the mechanics, okay, and repaired, okay, just like as they call it, routine maintenance. But you have it where these planes are taking so many flights per year, per week and such, and where that, of course, is being, neglected. This, put it out. Just put the plane out there and it'll fly. And you see what happens. These accidents that happen.
Yeah, these people that are making these planes, they're not worried about people's safety. They're really just worried about taking your money.
Yeah. You have it where the aviation. Go pull up the grade for aviation. All right, the aviation. Yeah. So in the aviation arena.
Yeah, it says in 1988 it was a B minus. In 2017 it is a D.
You got a D, okay, for aviation. All right, and when we go into it, what makes a grade? All right. Which we read that here for the D, A being the best would be exceptional and fit for the future. The infrastructure in the system or network is generally excellent condition, typically new or recently rehabilitated. It says it meets capacity and needs for the future. A few elements show sign of general deterioration that require attention, but the facilities meet modern standard for functionality and are resilient to withstand most disasters and several are severe weather events. Now, this is the actual A. If we way down to a D, it's pouring at risk, where you have it where the actual infrastructure, all right, is at a poor or fair condition, mostly below standard. That's obviously putting everything at risk. It's only a matter of time before Yahweh Hashem Yahushai sanctions a form of judgment, okay, to expose you damn devils for being wicked, being low level, and obviously, y'all not fit to rule and can't cast and discern what to do, all right, with your whole setup, your society. Okay, where you should just, you need to cease and repair. And, it's a time to do that. A time to, as it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it's a time to heal. But you could, how Rogers, I pull that up, because that actually does fit this lesson. And Slakia, if I haven't said, Double R said that was apostles at Great Millstone Rule. Peace and salutation to the election. I'm not sure if I said it, and that we the brothers from Great Millstone Lake Tables Camp, but that's exactly what we are. All right, Slakia.
This is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven." Verse 3. It says, "A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up."
Yeah, so there's a time to, of course, to heal, a time to kill, and a time to break down, and a time to be built up. All right. So you have it where, man, when it's time to, of course, heal these planes and let them, of course, be rebuilt and fixed. All right. If you don't do that, this is going to lead towards these things. Okay, things just being overworked. Okay, machines got so much friction and pressure placed upon them that things, of course, are not being greased. Things ain't being replaced and repaired. They're in a poor condition. That's beyond low. All right, standard. Okay, it fails because even when you have it, when we was reading the actual A plus, that ain't even a great standard when I read it, you know. But that's Esau's his actual form of grading things, you know, which is very low level and carnal, I must say. All right.
Yeah, if I knew I was getting on a plane with an overall grade of D, I wouldn't get on that plane. That's why a lot of people got fear of flying nowadays.
Jake, then you might get on the fucking plane. I'm like, I'm like, yo, like, what I mean, like I said, when I was in the world and such, man, jet set was one of my favorite things to do, you know. But every time you would hear Jake, they like, man, you might die, man. That plane, something gonna happen, you know. Well, this is why Jake got a good little intuition, because Esau not even taking care of the infrastructure in the aviation arena, okay, and also other arenas, which we gonna cover a little briefly, other arenas as well. I don't know if you got any other scriptures real quick.
We can read Isaiah 26 and 20. Wait, which one was it?
Isaiah 26, and you can start at
5. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's Isaiah chapter 26 verse 5. It says, "For he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He layeth it low. He layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust."
Yeah, he bringing down great Babylon, America. All right, this whole setup. All right, this wicked, okay, empires being brought down. Okay. And it's you damn devils that are the ones that are proud, okay, just to prove it, you know.
This Malachi 1 and 4 says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever."
Yeah, so, you damn demons back you have it where the Renaissance time came, when y'all came, y'all was loose for a little season, which we're still in that little season, right? Because y'all, of course, was locked away, all right, where y'all couldn't deceive the earth, okay? Y'all came back in the time of a Renaissance, which you have it where during that 1400s and such, y'all came back and y'all started doing iconoclasm, painting over the images of the judges, all right, and saying y'all was the most high and all of that, which is wicked, okay, because you're not a saint, all right, and you're not the most high. You're not the saints at all. You're not holy. You're no name. You're the wicked, okay, and y'all are proud, okay. Y'all are very proud people, okay, and you read that in Ibadiah, which you got that in another tab. Yeah, Obadiah.
No.
Yeah, pull up Obadiah real quick, just to prove that y'all proud and that the scriptures is talking about you. All right, which it says here that
This is Obadiah 1 and 3. It says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?"
and it says here,
It says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh."
yeah, I mean, y'all, of course, exalt yourselves as the eagle, all right, and of course, y'all set y'all nest, which you go into. That nest is a dwelling, okay, a place of refuge, all right, which really, you got various space stations, which you elite of you Edomites, which is a so-called white man, Caucasians. Y'all are going to, of course, try to hide in. Y'all also gonna try to hide in them little dens and stuff. All right, so you got nests, which is a chamber or a dwelling, okay, and you have it where, like I said, y'all gonna try to escape the nuclear destruction, which y'all elites are going to, and y'all gonna be the first to go into slavery, which we're gonna bind up you damn what I believe y'all with fetters of iron and such. I'm not sure if that's in Psalms 149 if I'm not mistaken. I have to go and check. All right. Y'all sign as the eagle, as Romans. Y'all sign as the eagles. Y'all still Edomites. All right. Y'all don't call themselves like, say like, hey, I'm a Roman. Well, y'all do in a sense, but y'all don't just say it. Okay. Y'all call yourselves Americans. Call yourselves European. All right. Y'all put yourself as the eagle, as a proud bird and such. All right. Khan, he's a predator. Okay. And like I said, you had it where you had the whole Apollo missions and such. And y'all, of course, back in the 1970s, I believe, or such, y'all put various satellites up there. All right, so y'all are the proud, okay? Come on. Now you can go into other infrastructures.
Oh, okay, con. It says, this is from whyy.org. It says, criticizing inaction on lead in New Jersey schools' drinking water supplies. It says, despite lead in drinking water supplies having been detected in hundreds of New Jersey's public school buildings, advocates say there appears to be no rush to figure out how to divvy up $100 million in new money among districts eager to fix the problem. Says the advocates are pushing the state to more aggressively come up with plans for how to spend dollars from a bond issue voters approved last November that was geared to replacing lead service lines in schools throughout the state or fix the problem through less costly alternatives.
Yeah, so I mean, y'all so fucking broke that y'all, like I said, y'all can't even solve basic problems and such. I mean, which y'all, like I said, y'all use these lead. You got lead paint, and also our houses are contaminated with these lead based paints and stuff. Certain old paints and stuff. And then you have it here where you have it lead based pipes and such, right? Which are harmful. Okay, our drinking water is going through with these old ancient lead pipes, and of course they decay and they're going into our body and our systems. That's heavy metals and such, and what that's going to do, that's going to cause these little kids obviously cancers. And I'm gonna see what does it come up with anything different. Here it'll go. Slacky, we're gonna give you some of the different disorders which it does to the children.
And it says the children at greatest risk. It says her organization compiled preliminary results of lead testing by school districts in 2016 and found that at least 300 districts had at least one outlet within their systems that had a problem with lead. It says there are no safe levels of lead in drinking water, a problem posing a threat to young children, causing learning disorders and behavioral problems.
God. So you see it causes different type of behavioral problems, okay, and learning disorders. It affects the obviously the brain, okay. The brain ain't able to develop as what it should because you got lead within it, okay, impeding that, all right, damaging that, okay. And that's what the so-called white man, that's his dang. He's nothing but a murderer, a robber, a killer. He's the sword. All right. He weaponizes everything. All right. And I believe when you read the book of Revelations, the 16th chapter, or let me see, I'm not sure if it's Revelation 16. It speaks of the pollution in the water.
This is Revelation chapter 16, verse 4. It says, "And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood."
God.
What's up? Going?
Yeah, you can read.
"And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Yahweh, which art..." I think this goes somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So, we're just going into this right here. All right. You have a certain, of course, angel that, of course, you got these various plagues that are being unleashed onto the earth. All right. Which he poured here a vial into the rivers and the fountains of the waters, and they became blood. All right. And then when you read more into, I believe, I think when you go into Wormwood, it's in another chapter. All right, it'll go into it some more and more in depth. But Slacky, at this time, I'm not gonna go too much deep into it right now. All right, but you have it where these various contaminants been placed into the water due, of course, various. You got nuclear disaster, like with nuclear reactors and such. What's that, Fukushima and all that? I gotta go back into it, but oil spills and such. And this all under the so-called white man. He doesn't want to, of course, filter out and clean the water and such. And then even like I said, what we're just bringing out the main point is just that the lead, the whole infrastructure, okay, the lead pipes and all of that. I mean, it's poor, and it's unacceptable. God.
This is Revelations chapter 8, verse 10. It says, "And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter."
Yeah, which you have obviously the third part of men, all right, dealing with what? You have it what? Anything dealing with the third part of men, all right, is dealing with Esau, all right, which you have it where, of course, Esau is ruling, okay? So you have it within, obviously, his rulership, which Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which Esau is the end of the world, all right? You have it that his kingdom is being plagued with these various curses, okay? And that's why you have these various, you have it where it's speaking of this water, this wormwood and such, all right? And it's being made bitter, right? Which, yeah, you got to read that. It made bitter, the water, that men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Okay. Yeah, and that, made bitter, and that's going through the pollutants, the contaminants, okay? All right? Is it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Let me read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the infrastructure report card.com, this is for what is this? Waters.
Yeah, the water infrastructure.
Well, yeah, water infrastructure. And it says drinking water is delivered via 1 million miles of pipes across the country. Many of those pipes were laid in the early to mid 20th century with a lifespan of 75 to 100 years. Said the quality of drinking water in the United States remains high, but legacy and emerging contaminants continue to require close attention. While water consumption is down, there are still an estimated 240,000 water main breaks per year in the United States, wasting over 2 trillion gallons of treated drinking water, according to the American Water Works Association. An estimated $1 trillion is necessary to maintain and expand service to meet demands over the next 25 years.
Yeah, you have it where this, you said that these pipes and stuff that were laid way back in the mid 20th century. I believe I forget what century we in right now. 21st century. All right. They only got 75 right here to 100 years. Okay. So these a lot of these pipes, all right, are decaying, breaking down, and you have these water main breaks, which when that break, obviously all of the water is wasted. Okay. And then you have it where they even speaking here that the water is treated, and they're treated with what? Various forms of chemicals, chlorine, okay? Other different forms of chemicals to make it safe to drink, but it's still defiled, okay? and you have it where it's killing our kids and leaving them, of course, with various diseases and such. Okay, and us too. It affects us. It throws off our hormonal balance and such. All right. Where they need at least, they say an estimated $1 trillion to $1 trillion is necessary to maintain and expand the services made to meet the demands over the next 25 years, and they got to get new piping, okay, and make it obviously something I would say acceptable, okay. I mean, I think they just doing what they doing. Be doing PVC pipe. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go into what they be doing these days and such. But for the most part, I be seeing like big pieces of plastic laying around all the time when I be seeing all these construction. But don't quote me on that. I'll go into the actual research, all right, of the current piping that they installing into these various into the infrastructure. But you see it right here. We proved it. Okay, it's all written in the scriptures, all right, that obviously, going back to the Isaiah, the 14th chapter, all right, about, let me go into it back again real quick. We're going to pull it up real quick. Yep, 14 and 11. Right. Isaiah 14 and 11, which it reads, it says, the pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vows, and the worm, all right, is spread under thee, the Ramah, right, which is the worm, which means decay, all right, signs of decay, and the worms cover thee, all right, and you can see it all throughout the infrastructure, all forms of it, okay, which we only covered a couple, like 3. So with that, we want to give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kodash.
And double honor to those apostles at Great Millstone who well, and peace and salutations. La B'chayarim, the election of the nation of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.